My name is Mandi Schulz. I'm the Executive Director for Frontier Hospice and Transitional Care. I do want to welcome you all here. It's exciting that there's an event that can be put together like this in 6 weeks. And Heather, I know she's worked very hard, and I'm super proud of all of our team for being here. So again, welcome. So we have two different service lines, like Dr. Raju said. We're not just a hospice agency. We're also a transitional care program. We started this program, I'm going to skip around, this is not even what's on paper, but Dr. Raju's passion really ignites other people's passion. And I think that that's a part of today for us. It's not just about the numbers on the screen and all of the different, payment models and all of that. It's really about doing the right thing for these patients. And so transitional care started over 3 years ago for us as a passion project. We would get surveys back from our hospice families that we took care of their family members, and it would say, I wish I knew about hospice sooner. And we'd sit in hospital meetings and round table, and everybody would say, gosh, this patient went home without home health because they were scared of home health, or they thought they would have to pay something. Or somebody wouldn't go to a SNF when they needed that level of care because it was the nursing home, and they were scared of that. But it was a deficit in education. Again, a passion project for us, and we really decided at the end of the day, the only way to do this right was to make it free. And that's something that nobody else was doing or willing to do. And so 3 years later, we're still running this program, and it's absolutely free. A lot of you know about our program in here. If you do, will you kind of raise your hand? I think over the last 3 years, we've really been able to touch most of the providers in the area. If you don't know about it, though, we're going to talk about it today. And also, I have a nurse and a social worker here that see the patients in the home and in the hospital setting that can speak more directly into what we're doing with these patients. So it's a 30-day program. It's designed to be 30 days now because it's ours. We're not dictated by insurance. If the patient's needs are greater than that, then we see them for 45 days or 60 days or 6 months or whatever it is it takes to set them up for success to keep them out of the hospital. So we've got proven results over the last 3 years. We've collected the data, we've tweaked our program. It's an evergreen program, as you all know, that are seeing these patients. We're just trying to find the secret sauce. What is it going to take? And sometimes it's as simple as a bedside commode. We had a transitions patient. She was a frequent flyer to one of the hospital systems. Had been in the hospital 6 times in 2 months. And finally, we got the referral, after the 6th time. And so the TC nurse went to the home and asked the patient, we'll call her Susie, Susie, why are you still going back to the hospital? What is it? She's a COPD patient. And she said, paint the picture for me. What is this? What is the trigger? And it was very simple. At night, she'd get up, take her oxygen off, put it on the bedside table because the tubing wasn't long enough to get her to the bathroom. Turn around, and by the time she's on her way back to the bedroom, she's out of breath, can't talk, scared to death, which all these COPD patients are. And her husband calls 911. He doesn't know what to do, he's scared. And so it all boiled down to, would Susie be willing to use a bedside commode? And the answer was, yes, please, I don't like going back to the hospital, I don't want to. And we kept her out. We kept her on the program for 30 days. We were able to do applications and really a lot of other resources for this patient and her husband. But at the end of the day, we kept her out of the hospital. And no matter what the intervention or what barriers we're looking at, that's the end game for all of us because it's the right thing to do. She didn't want to go to the hospital, but she was scared and had someone taking care of her, which is a lot of times the issue, the caregivers. And he was in charge at that point. So they went to the hospital 6 times in 2 months. So we really want to help our hospital systems, our SNF facilities, home health agencies that are out there, physician offices, all of you all with your frequent flyers. Address the barriers. Talk to them about every single level of care before they ever need it. This is not about hospice. Yes, that's what happens eventually, And I skipped over all of that. We're one of the best hospice agencies in the market by far, so we'll get to that later. But this program, like I said, is our passion project. And you have to have a heart of hospice, I think, to do this type of program well. So nurses and social workers run the program, like I said, frequent flyers. They go into the home typically within 24 to 48 hours. They cringe when I say 24 hours, but we try because that's when all hell breaks loose, right? So assess the need, do a med rec. Can they afford their meds? Do they have a PCP? Most of the time the answer is no. And that's why they didn't go home with home health, because they don't have a physician to write an order. That's not done face-to-face. So there's all these things that we've assessed and been able to address, and we can, tie those all together. Resources, applications, VA funding is a big deal. There's a lot of veterans out there that just don't know how to do the paperwork, that deserve this funding and the resources VA provides, and our staff is able to do that for them. So whatever the barrier may be, we have many patients that get sent home with stacks of applications and paperwork from the hospital, from the case manager, when we get to the home, and they don't even know how to read. So how are they supposed to do any of that? They don't, they throw it away until we get there and we dig it out of the trash and open 3 months worth of mail and figure out what it is that they need. So we really want to continue to grow our partnerships in this market, and that's why things like this are so important. The payment models, and like Dr. Raj, you said, how are we all going to tie together? 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago even, we were so disjointed. We were all just doing our own thing, and now it's really time for us to work together. And we believe that this program is what's going to tie up all of those loose ends. So that's our transitional care program.